Uh, Mr. Trost, welcome. The Midland County Chapter of the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats is very excited to have you participate in this interview process as you run for re-election for Midland City Council member at large. If you'd like to take a couple of minutes and just give us an opening statement and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for re-election.
Well, there's a lot of unfinished business. I've been on the city council this is the third year on this go around. I served 6 years previously, most of them with ex-councilman Love there. And I think we had a very good council at that time. And I was off for 5 years, and I just didn't like the way things were going with that current council, So I decided to give it another try. And the citizens said, yeah, we want you. So that was an honor, of course, to serve. And I'm running because there's a lot of unfinished business and things going on that aren't to my liking particularly. And so in order for me to really combat or to fight for the citizens in the way that I'd like to, is to be on the inside rather than the outside. Maybe I won't win every round, but I'll sure hold the rest of the council accountable for any decisions that they might make. And that's what it's all about, accountability. So I'm running because it's I've just unfinished business.
Very good. Well, speaking of that unfinished business, that will lead me right into my first question. You set that up beautifully, honestly. My first question, again, we sent you 5 questions for you to prepare a statement, and then we'll have additional questions, of which I'll ask you 3. And following that, we'll ask you additional questions which have not been provided. So the first question that I will ask you, speaking of unfinished business, the city has delayed the execution of the road bond that voters supported in 2017. How do you feel about the city not following the voting mandate of its citizens?
Well, I'm a little confused by the question. And so I did some checking. Actually, as far as the road bond is concerned at this moment, we're not only are we ahead of schedule, but we're under budget. And I'm not quite sure. Are you talking about unpaved streets? Because we have separate money for that we're working on right now. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation about a week and a half ago with our city engineer talking about unpaved streets and in developable areas in the south and east side. So efforts are being made to get that done, and we're working on that, I promise you. If that's what you're talking about, I don't quite understand that the road bond's been on hold. It hasn't, to my knowledge. I mean, if you don't mind, you might clarify that question for me.
Mr. Trost, I'd be happy to clarify that for you. The road bond was, I believe, 2017, 2018. And so technically this should be year 4 and going into year 5. Year 3 of that, New York Street was supposed to be reconstructed. And it has been delayed. It was supposed to be done in year 3. This is year 4 and 5. And they're just now starting, I believe, to go out and let for that. And I have just full disclosure, my office is on New York Street. That's why I've been keeping up with it. So that's one of the areas. And then Thomason has also been delayed. I believe that was year 3 as well.
Well, you're talking about specific places. I thought you meant the question was generally speaking, and generally speaking is it's still moving forward. So, but in specific areas, I don't know. That's bottom line, but I can find out. New York and Thomason is what you're talking about. So I didn't realize that. There's a lot of specific areas where things have had to be moved or because of just various variety of reasons. And we had some trouble, I know, during the COVID lockdown. There was progress was still made, but maybe not in all the areas that you're talking about, maybe move to other areas that I can check on. For right now, frankly, I don't have an answer for that.
Very fair. And, it's always good to clarify, a lot of people, when we look at that question and look at that scope of this is what they wanted all of the roads to be done, it's the realization that this is an ongoing project and things are being done, maybe just not in the time frame that we originally planned. And so it's good for you to speak to that and say, yes, we are getting things done. We are, working on that effort. So I appreciate that answer.
Yeah, we are working on it. There's no question. But I have to check into the specifics, which frankly, I haven't done lately. I know that I've seen the maps, gone over the maps of the streets that have been done and are being done. But that's been, several months ago, like at least 6 to maybe even 8 months ago. So frankly, I haven't kept up with it. Other things have come up, and knowing that we were proceeding forward, I wasn't up with areas that were like the specifics you're talking about that were put on hold. But that I will find out about that.
Good deal. My next question, without question, oil is the lifeblood of Midland's economy. But what would you do to diversify our economy in the downtimes of the oil industry?
And did you say in the downtimes?
Right. Or
Well,
in general.
In general, what we just need to diversify our economy, which is the reason that we have this Midland Development Corporation. That's why that's why it came into being in the first place. And so right now, I think that the Midland International Air and Spaceport is one of our best assets for creating an area of diversity, and that would be in the aerospace industry. We've made some very good progress. For instance, an AST out at the airport, getting ready to do some fantastic things out in space with some satellites to go into space to bring cell phone service to people that can't get it. That's going to be huge. We also have Kepler, which is at the airport, and we have other groups looking at the airport. We're working on the high-speed corridor as you and I speak right now. It's in the works between here and Spaceport America. I mean, there's all that, and these can provide, once we get these things done, which they're in the motion, we will be providing some good high-paying jobs out at the airport. And to that end, the school system has instituted a program which will help, and it's a opt-in or school project for some sort of space knowledge, if you will. And the college, the engineering is going to be having some at UTPB at the engineering building, which is the Midland campus out at 191 and what is that? But anyway, at 1788, they will be having some courses on aerospace engineering. So those are the areas I think that are ripe for and should be developed for diversifying our economy to help us during that downtime.
Very good. Very good. My final prepared question, Midland is in a much different place than we were a month ago, as far as in relations to COVID-19. A month ago, our numbers were the highest that they had been at any point during the pandemic. Our vaccination rate was around 36%. Today, our vaccination rate is around 50%, but we know that herd immunity is not accomplished until we reach a vaccination rate closer to 70%. With all that said, COVID is still an issue that our city and our nation faces. What do you think is the city council's role, if any, in fighting COVID-19?
I'm sorry, the last part of your question tailed away. In any what now?
What do you think is the city council's role, if any, in fighting COVID-19?
Well, is to enhance the capabilities of the health department. to keep up with everything that's going on, to inform us of what's going on, and for us to take appropriate action with the information we have available to us at the time. So I can't specifically say what that would be until we have that particular health department direction. So, it's just for me to say we need to do X and X and X without having all the information would be, I don't think it would be very good for me to do, or anyone on the council. We just have to wait, get all the information, make our decisions based on the information we have available to us at the time. Right now, things are calming down a little bit. And people are getting vaccinated, which is good. Vaccination, I've had my vaccinations. So, and I hope that people will opt in to get their vaccinations. I don't know whether I've been exposed or not, but I've not even been ill with anything resembling any COVID symptoms.
Very good.
I hope that answered your question.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And we pray that you continue to not ever have to experience it. COVID-19 is not something to play with, and we definitely don't wish anyone to become ill. So vaccination is very important.
Yes, it is.
Our next set of questions are going to come from our executive council. They're the questions that you have not seen previously. And I will start with our treasurer, Mr. Eddie Rad.
How do you do?
Good evening, Mr. Trost. Give me just a second here.
No problem.
It went a different direction. It went different direction this time. Let me get my.
I switched it up on him, Mr. Trost.
Yeah. That's
I
okay.
get Mr. Love first.
That's okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Trost.
Good afternoon.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with how do you feel about zero tolerance of abuse of citizens by police officers?
Well, it shouldn't happen, period.
Okay.
I mean, bottom line, there should be zero tolerance.
Okay. And how do you think a police advisory board would help?
Police what? What's that word?
Police advisory board would help.
Oh, I think that's as long as the advisory board is examining situations and looking at things from a realistic eye and are bringing things forward, I think it's a good thing. I think it would help a great deal, as a matter of fact. I fully support that, by the way, that initiative.
Okay, good, thank you. Mr. Ratliff?
And Chairman Love, the next question is yours.
All righty, Mr. Trost. What are your ideals to improve the quality of life for Midlanders, especially those in the African American community?
You know, John, Mr. Love, that is a very difficult question, and I'll tell you why. I don't know how you're going to take this, but the fact is, I have never been in the Black community as a Black person. So therefore, my vision or my view may not be in line or within keeping with the vision or direction that the Black community may have. But to try and answer your question, I would say that, of course, good development of good properties in the area, retail type situations, entertainment. I mean, there's so many things that we can do without compromising the integrity of the neighborhoods. And that would be in the development stage, I would think. That's where I'm coming from, generally speaking. I hope that answer wasn't insulting, but it's just that it's really the truth. It's what's that old saying? Yeah, walk a mile in my shoes. Before you criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes. Sometimes we can't walk a mile in someone else's shoes. So it's difficult. And I think that's where we stumble a lot. And I'm talking about we in the Caucasian community. So we have to be careful about how we say things and couch things, I would think. Development to
Trost.
me is the best way to go. Yes, sir.
No, I thought you were finished. Go right ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm through. I'm through.
I just want to comment. That is a great, honest answer. And I really appreciate it. And by your answer, you must have been hanging around with Black people.
I've been known to.
Thank you for your honesty, sir. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
hey, may I make a comment?
Sure.
Human beings are human beings. We all have to eat. We all have to sleep. We all have to support ourselves. We're just human beings, and we should learn how to live together to help one another in any way we possibly can, without making those kind of judgments. It's all too seldom that we have that complete compatibility, if you will. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Thank you.
Mr. Vice Chairman,
Yes.
can I just add something real quick if it's not out of line?
Sure.
To Mr. Trost, this is Billy Johnson, Precinct 3, Justice of the Peace. How are you, Mr. Trost, this evening?
Oh, how are you, Mr. Johnson? Sure, I know you. Yeah.
Good. I just want to, again, piggyback on what Chairman Love just said. Thank you for being as open and honest as you possibly could in answering that question the way that you did, being as open and as honest as you possibly can. And see, that's something that we desperately need in our public servants. It's just honesty, just transparency, and things like that will go a long way in moving us forward as a people, not just as a Black or as a white people, but as just as a human race. So thank you for being as open and honest as you possibly can in answering that question. And I pray that you have continued success in your public service.
Well, I appreciate that comment very much. I really do. Because that's really honestly, and I don't like to do this, but I want to do it anyway. Mr. Love, I think, has known me a long time. And I think that he knows that I'm pretty much what I say I am with the way I act. I do what I say what I do. And I think he's if I'm out of line, Mr. Love, let me know. But I respect your opinion and your direction very much. And I think that over the years that you've kind of felt the same way, and I appreciate that.
I have, sir, and I'm nodding in agreement with what you were saying. Yes, sir, I agree wholeheartedly.
Well, this is an honor for me to be here, and I'm so sorry that I was late, but it just was unfortunately unavoidable. But here I am, and here you are, and this is a good conversation.
Yes, sir. And we certainly appreciate you being a part of this conversation and accepting this interview request. These are all the questions that we have for you. I'll give you an opportunity to make any final statements that you'd like to make to our organization and to Midlanders in general.
Sure, I would love to do that. I would like to point out and remind everyone that state law and in the city of Midland, we're a home rule city, as I think you understand and know what that means. We're also has to run as independents. So whenever I'm asked the question, are you a Republican or a Democrat? I always answer, I am an independent, because to run for city council in Midland, the law requires you be an independent. However, I have to cross all lines to make sure that the things that we need to get done and know my place as a city councilman and what our job is. It's to do the things that we were discussing at the very beginning about finishing the streets and getting those things done and taking care of the infrastructure needs that we have, water and sewer. I mean, the list is endless. The other stuff is big and it's different and has to be done. Future growth is going to happen. We can't stop it, but we can help it be in an orderly fashion. And that's my job as a city councilman. And as an at-large city councilman, I have no special section of the city. I represent all of the city. And you can call me anytime, you could message me anytime. Michael Trost is always open to anyone who wants to talk about any situation. I appreciate this opportunity to talk to you and to discuss this. If you have any other questions, please ask them.
Very good. Well, Mr. Trost, again, thank you so much for your time. We wish you all the best in your campaign moving forward. And we look forward to our next opportunity to meet with you and to talk with you and to hear more about your vision for Midland, Texas as a whole. Thank you again for joining us this evening. And we hope that you have a very blessed rest of your evening and moving forward.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's been an honor. And I wish you all a blessed evening as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone, this concludes our final interview. I will leave the room open for the next